Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Pepe, seeing what's going on. Quick update, and obviously going to take another look at some Fibonacci retracement levels. We got to redraw these out because we did break through that all-time high here recently for Pepe, and we're in price discovery. When things get into price discovery, it gets messy fast, and in a good way, because obviously we're going fairly parabolic. Increase in volume allows for us to continue to push the price up. Okay, so we got that post all-time high hype going on right now, and it's really a lot of fun. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to draw some new fibs here. Going to go from bottom to top. We're going to take a look at Elliott wave 2 and kind of see how much further back it will pull back. In most cases, 0.382 is a very common characteristic. We're already halfway there. Okay, so just keep in mind, the price can't go up forever. It has to pull back. Somebody's going to take profit at some point. It's usually with somebody with a very large bag that will sell all at one time. As much as we want this to be our coin, the people's coin, meme coin, whatever you want to call it, there are people with a lot of money that are obviously onto this as well, and they're stacking the books and they're going to take their profit when they can. Okay, so just keep that in mind. What goes up must come down at one point or another. Okay, so that being said, not a financial advisor, love to teach people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. If you learned something great, let me know. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is our website. It's really, really awesome. Actually, we have a trading academy, signals, and community where we all learn and grow together. I send out trade signals and, of course, really just help you become a better trader. That's the whole concept. Speaking of which, we also have a awesome Twitter account here. We're trying to get that up and running, growing. We've got a BitGets competition benefit here. If you go ahead and register with them using this link, you'll go ahead and benefit as well with some transfer bonus and, of course, potential to be able to be access to my private signals. And one very last thing that's important to note, we just had this unusual activity coming into the market where Bitcoin is cranking. Okay, so keep in mind, Bitcoin just took off and it's not looking back. Okay, so a very significant amount of volume coming in the market that could spell, I wouldn't say disaster for altcoins, but some altcoins are going to get slammed because they're taking the profits from alts before they start to come down with Bitcoin coming up and the dominance, of course, increasing. Okay, so a lot of little things going on. That being said, we'll see what's going on here with Pepe. So on the 4 hour, let's go ahead and just jump right in here. First of all, I updated the Fibonacci retracement levels from the most recent low to the most recent high. And what we wanted to jump in with first would be Elliott wave. And this is basically just something kind of showing us here that we have established higher highs and higher lows so far, right? And if this is the high, then the next logical low will be down to Fibonacci retracement level 0.382. So as I mentioned, that's kind of a common characteristic location for the price to pull back. And the reason why is because this halfway point is typically a support. Just above that 0.382 is a better support because it's a higher high and a higher low, right? So oftentimes the price pulls back to this level, it'll continue to establish a new high. So that's actually a good thing that the price pulls back because we want to be able to get in a better price point, and the next leg up would be even higher. So keep in mind we are basically 2 higher highs into 3 higher highs, if that makes sense, and we still got a lot of room to grow. Okay. Now as far as how the day wraps up, that's really just a matter of a flip of a coin at this point. We don't truly know. But based on technical data here, what we want to see is that we are overextended on the 4 hour. Big surprise there. TD sequential, we hit a 9 3 candlesticks ago, and typically the 4th candlestick is the final one to increase. Basically what this does too is it takes the 4th previous candlestick and counts up to a 9. So TD sequential just takes a sequence of numbers and kind of helps you identify overextension. Now obviously, based on yesterday and when we kind of left off, the price was at a 7. It should have pulled back to leg up after that support level. But it didn't. It just continued to go through because we broke through that resistance level quicker than expected. Now that's a good thing, right? But keep in mind, with us having done that and not having had that rest and relaxation period, this run will not be as strong as it should have been because of that. Okay, so it's just something to kind of note and identify. Is it absolute? No, definitely not. But the cool thing is we're above all moving averages as per usual. So there's a lot of positivity here on the 4 hour. So for the most part, we're good, but extremely overextended. And I don't like to buy into overextensions personally. I like to more so buy the pullback and the bounce. So once again, hypothetically, the bounce will occur at this 0.382 level, which is roughly 59.8. You could round up and just say 60. So 60,000 or 60 essentially even is effectively the support level that we have right now tentatively for Pepe. And as you can see, it's starting to pull back, of course. It's very standard. If we take a look at TD sequential, we can see that we're up to a 5. It barely got a little bit of a reset right here, but previously up to a 9. Okay, so you see the 9 pulls back to that support, which it did. It bounced off that previous support level or previous resistance, of course, and then shot back up again. So this is all fairly standard trading stuff, but really cool nonetheless, right? So we like to see how this is doing, and this is fantastic, but just keep in mind, a pullback would make sense, which it's doing right now. I feel like it'll probably pull back to this area here because we have a lot of volume in this range. Actually, maybe not as much as you'd like. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit further. I guess, I mean, it is kind of a decent amount. So we got some volume here, and of course volume at the previous resistance. But for the most part, we're kind of just figuring out where we want to be at this point because there's not a lot of volume in that range. So to me, you know, the most amount of the more important aspects of trading is understanding volume and how it works. And we can just see there's a tremendous amount of volume coming into this coin, a lot more than the previous 24 hours. Okay, so that's a very good sign. That does imply that we're going to probably be able to maintain this price point. But it would make sense for the price to come back down to this 60,000 or 60 mark. Okay, so let's take a quick look at a few other things. Ichimoku Cloud is going to be just straight up here, basically just saying leave your position open. And by the way, I'm not telling you at all to sell, just saying that a good dollar cost average target would be 60 at this point, or possibly consider selling some of your position and adding to your position if it pulls back to that level. At this point, there's no guarantee it's going to pull back, but we have identified it's overextended on the 4-hour time frame. And to me, an overextension on the 4-hour is much more impactful than an overextension on the hourly, which we're also seeing. Okay, so again, you combine those two together, it's a matter of time before the price pulls back. Yes, I get it. You love this coin. That's perfectly fine. I'm not against this coin at all because I say it's going to pull back. So just a quick disclaimer there for those who are trying to kind of some naysayers out there. I'm really just looking at the logical data here and just making a sound financial decision based off the data that we have. Okay, if you're investing emotionally, that's a whole other story. You shouldn't attach yourself emotionally to any coin, even Bitcoin, all right? Because that will pull a rug out from underneath you really quick in most cases. All right, so again, this is a crazy, crazy industry, but the key is to use good risk tolerance and good risk management, which are things I teach in my trading academy if you want to become a better trader. Okay, last but not least here, let's go ahead and wrap things up with our 15-minute time frame, see what the CC Golden's been telling us here. So it's been giving us confirmational signs the whole time. So we got some entry levels here, and a sell target there, entry here, sell here. So a lot of my traders that are using this, they're finding great success. They're up about 38% on today. Yesterday they were up about 20%, and previously only about 15%. Okay, so those are some pretty healthy gains, especially if you're using spot trading. And God only knows what that looks like on leverage, right? So that being said, this is one of those situations where I think the price isn't going to go tremendously lower than between 60 and 70 for the moment, but we want to see if it can maintain it. If we start losing volume, you got to keep this in mind, the volume starts to come down and taper off, then we're going to absolutely start seeing the price pull down with it. Okay, so just see the volume starts kind of coming down here back to this level. The price will inevitably consolidate lower, likely retain itself at 60, but it could very well come down to this halfway point or even 0.618 to retest that previous high. Okay, so previous highs are established themselves as new lows. So hypothetically, we got three different scenarios. We've got scenario A, price pulls back to 60. Scenario B, back down to 52. And then of course the tertiary option there is potentially down to 44. Okay. Once again, 44 was the most recent high up to about 18, 16 hours ago, right? So we got to respect the fact that that is a potential reality. The price could pull back to that. And there's a decent chance that we will see something along these lines here, where the price just go ahead and it contracts to that level. Really common characteristic, especially this being the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. That's a very common retracement area. Okay, so one of those three scenarios exists. I think it going straight up from here, it is less likely. I hope that it does, by all means, don't get me wrong, but I really simply think that it's important to take profits when you can. And honestly, it's like super, super in the green right now. Why would you not? Okay, it just makes perfect sense. But again, long-term picture, you're a long-term holder of Pepe, that's perfectly fine. You go ahead and do your thing, all right? But from a day trader or swing trader's perspective, it's best to relax and take it easy. I hope this makes sense for you. Thank you so much again for joining me here. We'll see you all in the next video. We'll cover this again soon.